Hello. So, welcome to another YouTube video. This is a quick video on deposits for students. So really we just wanted to cover a few things to help students understand more about deposits, how they get them back, and why they might be deducted any money from their deposit schemes if they've been to university. So this is directly for the UK. I'm not sure of any other sort of countries, but in the UK you are pretty certain to pay a deposit for your house. And what that means is you will pay a sum of money to the letting agent or landlord or the management company to secure that property so you can move in. And the deposit is roughly around the first month's rent. On average, it's about £289 when I last checked in the UK. I usually see them for around £250, something like that. But as long as it's equivalent and not above your first month's rent, that shouldn't flag any red flags. It is then held in a separate bank account. Well, separate account, or a separate scheme, should we say. So what used to happen is letting agents and landlords used to have all the deposit money, and some used to be quite, I wouldn't say smart, but they used to use it for refurbishments and investing in other houses in the hope that they would get all that money back by the time you need that deposit back. And if they didn't have it, they obviously couldn't pay you when you lost your deposit. So these schemes have been set up. They are separate and they're independent and separate from letting agents, where you can put your money, or the letting agent should put their money, and it is kept there. And if there is a dispute, basically the student will go to the deposit scheme and they will notify the landlord as well to say that obviously they don't agree with what's happened. Please remember that your deposit is not classed as rent. So if you pay your deposit in order to secure the house before you move in, please be sure that you are not paying your first month's rent. You're only paying your deposit. Rent is a separate thing. You'll likely need to pay that when you first move in. So that'll be your first instalment. If you pay termly, obviously when you move in, it will start on from whenever your first move-in date to obviously your loan date. You should never pay a deposit until you have signed the tenancy agreement. If you haven't signed the tenancy agreement, please don't pay the deposit. Normally when you're booking student accommodation, what they'll do is they will take you through the agreement first. They will say, here's your tenancy agreement, and if you'd like to pay now. And they can do all that online. Obviously they'll deliver your tenancy agreement and you click accept. But please make sure you read your tenancy agreement and see what you're responsible for. Once you agree to that, you can then pay your deposit. Before you move in, or as you move in, have a look around and take lots of pictures of the house to see that its current condition is perfectly livable and habitable. What that does is that shows you and the letting agent that you know what state the house is in, and they can't charge you for at the end of the tenancy because you haven't got the photos. So it's similar to like renting a car. If you rent a car, obviously most people will take photos of the car and then hand it back and say, well, actually that scratch was there beforehand. Exactly the same as a house. When you first go in, you should ask for an inventory. An inventory is a list of fixtures and furnishings, and you can go through the inventory and say, right, that is in this condition, that is in this condition, that is in this condition. Work your way down the list, take pictures of it and say, right, you're happy with that, keep them until the end of the tenancy. So when you move out, or when you check out, or when you, whatever you want to call it, you are then, you go through the inventory, make sure everything is clean, everything is tidy, and how you found it. What that does is then that shows the landlord that you have kept your side of the bargain. You have made sure that everything is clean, workable, and as you found it. If it's not and it's been damaged or broken, then you can be charged. And that must be sort of proven in a way. If it is damaged, that's nothing wrong with that. Problems do happen. Accidents do happen. Some things do get broken. Door handles. There can be a whole list of things like drawers, desks, beds. They do accidentally get broken from time to time. The problem is if you can replace it during your tenancy, do go and replace it. Make your landlord aware, ring them up, say, look, this is broken, I'm really sorry, can I go and replace it? And if they say yes, you can go and do that. If it's something that's outside your skill set and you can't replace it, obviously you need to tell the landlord. Be honest with the landlord, be open with the landlord. If you can resolve it there and then and not wait until the end, obviously they will take it out of your deposit. They'll likely still charge you for it. They might not do, but you never know. It's better to tell them as it happens. Finally, before you leave, there are a couple of common mistakes that students forget to do in order to get their deposit back. Sorry, actually, one quick question beforehand we've had before is tenancies and a joint tenancy deposit and a single tenancy deposit. Now, what does that mean? So, if you're on a joint tenancy deposit, it means the group of you, whether that's 2, 3, 4, 5, are on the same tenancy agreement. And you all sign one agreement and the deposit is one pot. The problem with that is everyone's in the same pot. So if you leave early, you can't get your share of the deposit back until the last person leaves and the house is in the state that it was found. If you leave early and you incur charges and it wasn't your fault, you will likely still need to get your deposit. You won't get your deposit back. You'll still be charged for your share even though you weren't there. It also means that only one person can be the lead sort of nominated student for that household. So you need to trust that person in order to have your deposit, give it to the letting agent, and then whatever you get back, return back to you in a fair manner. Obviously, they can't be slow with it, and they can't take too long because it is your money. It's similar to bills. Obviously, if you don't get bills included, you have to nominate a lead sort of person. The utilities company don't want to talk to 5 different people and have 5 different accounts. They want one account, one person to deal with. Same with deposits. If you're on separate tenancies, they will take separate deposits. Now, this is more likely. Your joint tenancies are quite a little bit old school, and they're found in dual occupancies more often than not. So if you're sharing with your partner, you'll go halves on the deposit and halves on the rent, etc. What we see more of now is the fact that people living in HMOs. They all have a separate assured short hold tenancy agreement. And that's just an individual agreement for that room, and they will pay deposit for that room and rent for that room. They won't pay a deposit or rent for anyone else's room, and they won't share with anyone else. But the common mistakes that students make before they move out to not get the full deposit back is they don't clean the house properly. So they'll just give it a quick whiz with a hoover and expect it all to be alright. You do need to give it a good clean. You need to return it to the state that you found it. So that means rest assured the amount the cleaning products cost you, which can be expensive, will be cheaper than what you'll be charged if they have to clean it. So give it a good clean with a hoover, empty the bins and take the bins out and put them in the wheelie bins. Make sure the carpets are hoovered, make sure the toilets are clean and not lime scaled. Try and remove any lime scale. We can do this by cleaning it daily. Make sure your bedroom is as you found it, so no blue tack marks, no picture hangings, no desk decorations, no marks on the desks, everything nice and neatly folded away. Your oven is clean, your fridge is defrosted, and everything is wiped down. This should then help you get your deposit back. If they do have to make any sort of, or if they do have to do any work and they need to charge you, they need to give you a breakdown, or they should give you a breakdown on the cost and the work involved. If not, you can request this and they should be able to give it for you. They can't charge you silly costs anymore. Hopefully that's been a little bit of use to you. We do have a blog or an article on this. I will link it below for you guys. If you want to hear more from me, watch the videos, drop me a comment and I'll always respond. Thank you.